What up, dude, bro? Spider Avenger Miller back at it with probably my favorite X-Shot blaster ever, the X-Shot Lock, a lever action, very smooth operating 8-shot blaster. Let's get into it with an external overview. There's no N-Strike barrel lug. This is, of course, an X-Shot blaster. Down below, we have the very cool locking system. WebWarrior JP doesn't particularly mind it too much. I think it's kind of funny. So this blaster came with a system to where it's called the lock, and that's because you can lock it to a system, and you can't use it. And what's cool is you have to memorize the code in your head. So mine is 331, so I just locked that in. So one thing that is kind of cool, you could scan that QR code. I'm kind of just covering up, so I don't want people to pause and look at my code, even though there's so many people that can't see me here. But it's a cool system to where you plug that in, you figure out your code, you can memorize it, take off the sticker, and it's a nice little system, and I kind of look at it as a funny way to screw with your friend, to where it's just like, oh, here you go. Thanks, dude. Your blaster's broken. I'm sorry, what was that? I look at that as some kind of funny, but some people may hate it. I personally think it's kind of funny, but it's a pretty easy system, and you can, like, once you lock it, you can't move these. You can probably snap them, but I trust it. And then, of course, up above, we do have a tactical rail. I'm pretty sure this is a Picatinny rail. I would have to test it with some Picatinny attachments. Now down to the cylinder. The cool thing about the cylinder is it can actually be removed. I imagine X-Shot did that because they're intending for this blaster, some people may use it as a primary, or some people might use it as a secondary. But if you use it as a primary, you can actually 3D print or buy a few of these so that you can just quick swap your cylinders, even though it's a pretty hard system to work with. Like that. The system's cool, don't get me wrong, but it's a challenging one. There we go. Like I said, it's pretty challenging, but not bad. Then, of course, I already showed you the button back here. Down to the trigger. The trigger pull is very nice. The blaster does not have slam fire. A lever action slam fire blaster is a hard thing to pull off. The freaking Nerf Adopt Me Bees blaster had slam fire to where you hold down the trigger and you prime it. So pretty much with every prime, you'd be holding the trigger and you would be firing. It's so stupid. The Nerf Scavenger had a better system where it was just a switch that you flipped and you could slam fire that. And then finally the 3D printed slab is a cool system to where it's a moving system to where you prime, the trigger moves as well so that the system lubricates. And then, of course, you could have slam fire to where you hold it down, and as you're priming, you're still holding the trigger, just like that. But slam fire in a lever action rifle is kind of stupid, in my opinion. Of course, this is how you prime the blaster. That prime action is solid, very smooth. The lever is very big, so you can fit a whole lot in there, and you can do so many tricks with this. The classic Terminator. I'm sitting down right now, otherwise I would show it off better. And then, of course, Lord Drax method, and of course how you usually use these one-handed, meaning you could dual wield these, which is very cool. Of course, I forgot to say there's a sling attachment point up here. Now down to the grip. The grip is very comfy. It's a very solid blaster. This would definitely be a hard blaster to like shoulder like this. This is definitely one that you want to be aiming down from the hip from, which is a cool system indeed. And that's how I personally run it. And then, of course, sling attachment point back here. That is an external overview of the lock. Overall, this is just a very good-looking blaster. Of course, this is in the Skin series, but is a very solid offering that you can use in so many different ways. It feels good. Well, feels good enough. The plastic quality from X-Shot is kind of crappy, but I'm willing to forgive that for making a solid blaster. I'm just gonna shut up about it and show you guys some firing. Starting out with their included rounds, or darts, why did I say rounds? Okay. Now just kind of being a little funny, seeing like what I can do with this, like showing you what the potential is with this. So thankfully that last one didn't hit. And to finish it off, just so I could see if it's a little bit helping with accuracy, just some darts on waffle head darts. A little low. And then a little over. There we go. A little high. Okay, so I just gotta recalibrate the aim. Firing this thing is just an absolute blast. That's literally all I have to say. I am a fan of lever actions like Wacom, and this is just so smooth. And especially the fact that this performs pretty well. I'm pretty sure it chronographs around the high 70s to mid 80s, I think, which is impressive for a blaster of this caliber. But overall, that is all the objective information I can provide on this blaster. Not in my personal opinion, I love this thing. This thing is one of like my favorite blasters right now. Like, it's definitely one of my favorites of the year, and it's probably my favorite X-Shot blaster. It's so smooth to operate. It's so much fun. And what I'm surprised about is it's accurate. You might remember from my review of the X-Shot Last Stand that it wasn't really the most accurate, and I think I know why. When you look inside the barrel, it's pretty thin, and for some reason it was taking the darts, these included ones, and spiraling them out of control. And even with waffle head darts, that didn't happen, but they weren't firing very accurately. Shooting them out of this, the barrel is not that wide, and they were flying much more straighter. And with these, I think I literally only missed 2 shots, and with waffle head darts, so you're probably wondering why the target's up there. Well, that came with Josh's Jupiter, or WebWarrior JP's Jupiter, and we just use it for firing because it's a fun thing to use. But what I like about it is, even though these didn't hit the target, you still saw how straight they flew. They hit the same spot every single time. They only changed when I calibrated my aim. And that's like one of the only things with this blaster is it's more to be fired from the hip. You can like hold it up like a regular blaster, but it's hard to do. It's definitely more designed to be hip fired. But honestly, I'm really impressed because now I actually like the darts again. I will admit their heads are a little too squishy, and the glue doesn't seem the best. But heck, even if you don't like those, just go buy waffle head darts and put them in the blaster. But you probably won't need to now, because these are actually flying much more straighter. So that's a really big improvement. I'm excited that X-Shot is finally back at it. Like, I remember a comment that someone left on the Double Punch review saying that X-Shot is just victorious this year, and it's not hard to see why. You'll see that in my next review. Well, 2 reviews, but we just see how much they've improved. They have a Pro Series now, and they're making more blasters like this, and their Insanity line with the freaking minigun, it's just perfect. Like, heck, I'm waiting to see another skin, probably like the Last Stands, because you guys remember my review. I love this thing still. Like, even though it's not the most accurate, it's still just like a fun blaster. It shoulders well. It's fun to use, and it's just overall a great blaster. It's phenomenal, fun, and you can get different variants. We just got this dragon skin because it looks cool and it looks like something out of Mortal Kombat. I like the skin that they gave this one. Heck, I'd love to see that skin on this one day, or maybe like some other cool skin. They just add the Sonic skin. Imagine a Sonic Lock. Oh, that's a cool name, the Sonic Lock. I like that. But overall, guys, that is my review. Now to the question to buy or not to buy. I would recommend you buy this. Wallcom made a joke that this destroys pretty much. This looks pretty much makes every lever action blaster that Nerf made makes them look like shame. I'm not going to say that because I have a personal place in my heart for the Slingfire and the Scavenger, but this just, it really is just like a solid blaster. Like, I think WebWarrior JP, like what you said, like this gives you Argus vibes a little bit.
Yes, it does.
And I can agree with him. Like, we play Call of Duty Black Ops 3 all the time, and my favorite gun in the game is the Argus. Like, whenever we play zombies, that's my first gun that I usually always buy because it's a reliable one, it works a lot of rounds, and plus, it's lever action. And it's what I love about this. Like, of course, it doesn't have a stock, but it literally gives you just a good vibe of shooting it, a good emotional response. Now, to its battle effectiveness, that's where it's going to get a little hesitant. This is just an 8-shot cylinder, and it is cool that these can be removed because you can buy a few extras. As soon as you're done with that one, take it out, grab another one off your bag or your pouch, whatever you carry cylinders in, and just, wow, I'm struggling right now. Bear with me, folks. Why? You were working... There we go. Bear with me as you see the difficultness that this cylinder system can atone to. There we go, all fixed. But that's one of the reasons why it's not the best, but you can get 3D printed cylinders and literally fill them up and make them hold more rounds, and that's also like one of the pluses to this being removable because you can get more cylinders. Like with the Hammer Shot, you could upgrade its capacity just by replacing its cylinder, and that you do the same thing with this, especially since this is much more simple to remove. You can't really replace the cylinder in this because it's locked into the blaster, but that also makes it very solid for a clean thing. And every time I prime this, it's always clean every single prime. But overall, I think this really would shine as a secondary, but literally, you guys know my joke, anything can be a primary. I literally fielded a Hammer Shot. My buddy King Cruzy David has fielded a Triad. Like, you could field pretty much anything, and that's where I think this can shine. This can shine as a really good secondary. Throw it on your side, but you could primary this. Now, it would be a pretty slow primary, but you can make it work. But that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Much love, blast on, and stay tactical.